What up, YouTube? Sold on RV Life Crew. Well, we're getting ready. Yeah. So we got the cover off. Those of you that have Coleman Machs. Anyway, this normally sits up here. We're getting ready to replace this unit because I have gone through all the testing on it. So here's a little backstory for you. Last summer we were down in Texas and we had it running all summer long, and I don't think we had any problems with it. Maybe towards the end, before we came up here in November, up to Nebraska in November, the AC was starting to just not get as cold, right? And so I started doing research on it and things, and they were always saying, you know, the 20-degree difference and stuff for ambient. So whatever your outside temp is when you're blowing cold should be about 20 degrees, maybe a little more colder than ambient. So if it's 100 degrees, your AC is only going to run at 80 degrees. Anyway, we weren't even getting that. And so it was blowing cool air, but not cold. So then I started down the rabbit hole of, it was squeaking a lot because the blower motor, it's all sealed and those bearings got salt air in there and they started squeaking and stuff. So I ordered up a new motor. The motor comes with a new capacitor. So we swapped that out. Still didn't get any better. So then I ordered up a new capacitor, a starter capacitor, that when the compressor kicks on, and replaced that. No improvement. So then I started doing the ground tests on top of the compressor. Not to get too in depth, but you take 3 different readings, resistance readings, and the 2 lowest should add up to what the other one was. That was close, but then when I did an amp draw, turned on the AC, per the sticker that's on the Coleman Mach, it should be about 11.8 amps, and I was barely getting up to 6. So that told me we had a Furrion leak. And so it was like, and they're sealed units, you got to replace them. So we went, saved up our pennies, and got the Furrion Chill Cube. Yeah, supposed to be this greatest thing, and all the reviews and everything I've been looking at it. It's got a dehumidifier in it, all kinds of great stuff. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take this one out. We're gonna put the Chill Cube on the roof and try and get it all plugged in and get it up and running. So come along for the ride. We'll see you after the intro.
Holy cow.
It's still a little rusty from stuff inside, but there she is. New motor, old motor. Pretty nasty.
So this was the state of affairs when we first thought we were having some issues. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, it was making noise. And that's just because the bearings that sit inside here are inside the casing. And so if we had wanted to maybe get in there and replace the bearings or re-lube them or whatever, we'd have to split this casing. I think it's just under $100 or right around $100. You get a brand new motor. They give you a new run capacitor, and it took less than an hour.
Unfortunately, it did not solve our issue.
No, because we had, well, if you want to see what we had, so this is the unit that was on the roof. So you see all this black oily stuff in here? That's the refrigerant. So this is just the deal that was underneath. So this is the compressor. And so we did a system test on this, and this wasn't. You can see how it's all just, look at how corroded this is. But the refrigerant was leaking out. And so so then when you do an amp draw test is where you get one of the clamp deals. Power this thing up, and you take it onto, I think it's the red one. And this plate right here will tell you compressor amps 11.8, and we were pulling barely 6. Which means that it's low on refrigerant and the compressor's just not working right. But then when you start looking at all the greasy, oily stuff in there, that's the refrigerant, and then it just leaked out. And yeah, and when that happens, it's a sealed unit. All of this is sealed, so there's nothing, you can't replace that. Now I guess there's some techs out there or mechanics of some sort that will come and put a pinhole in it, and don't recommend it, don't do it. Bad, bad, bad. Welcome back. Little shout out to Klein tools. So it's a voltage tester. And you see it? Yep. And so I'm just making sure your power's off. If there was power here, obviously this would beep and flash and be red light, whatever. Oh. And so I'm just kind of sticking it up here along all these wires. But this is the big one, because this is the one with the new AC is going to need, and that's his power. So it's been shut off at the breaker.
Okay.
So I think we're safe to proceed. All right, we're going to take you up there, and you can kind of see this wiring, so you can see what we're dealing with here. So there it is. I know it might be a little harder because it's dark, so we're going to try and light it up for you. So you can see all those wirings, right? And so the ones that we're going to concentrate the most on is going to be the power, which is right here. And that one runs up into a control panel. I hope you can see that up top. All the rest of these are going to be through those connectors. I don't know if you can see those. And it's all about the thermostat and the controls, where the new unit won't need any of this. We'll be using the power because it doesn't use the thermostat that's mounted on the wall over there.
It sounds so easy. Oh, don't look at me.
Mama in her robe. Don't hide the supervisor. Yeah, she's a cheese tax collector. All right. Yeah. Unplug this from the roof. Well, that seems to be it. Wow, okay. Unplug. Oh, you're back. So this was plugged into the control panel on the Coleman. All the rest of this is just wiring that's coming out of the sidewall for the trailer, and I don't need to disconnect any of it.
What does it all go to, for crying out loud?
Well, my assumption is a lot of this is thermostat stuff, because you need not only your power, which we have here, but then you need the controls coming from the thing to turn the fan on low, turn the fan on high, turn the compressor on.
Just
It probably just runs on, and then the fan will be switched fan high, fan low, you know. And so again, I am not a, but these 6 wires that are coming out of this brown one, which is in the wall, is coming from there, and that's what all of this stuff is. And so it seems strange to me, but whatever. And then this plugs in, and these are all thin wires because they're just little signals that tell the AC on the roof what to do. Because there's like this little wire hanging down. Actually, I can probably pull it out and show you. Boom. This right here is just a little sensor that sits inside the condensing, or the radiator up there, and it's the antifreeze. So if this senses freeze, but this is wired to the unit, so I don't need to take that out. I can stick that right back in there. So if you're getting freezing on your AC units, check to make sure that this is still plugged in. Because if it's not in the coil, then it doesn't sense the freeze. But yeah, all of this is
extra.
You know, from before. So I'm gonna go up, well, I just have to go on the roof, but I think I'm gonna take this inner plate out, and we'll go from there.
Yep.
All right, so we got the metal plate out, which is really in the 4 bolts that go up and hold the bottom of the AC unit to the roof. Those are out. And so now this is either Coleman or Grand Design came up with this. So those of you that have the Coleman Machs and have watched videos of people making styrofoam pieces that keep the return air from getting mixed with the cold blown in air, you know, they show all these. You can buy it separately. There's a manufacturer out that makes them. Well, I believe either Grand Design or Coleman has now added this to their newer builds, which does the exact same thing. And what it's doing is just keeping the drawn air that's coming in from the trailer before it goes through the condenser and then comes down and gets blown back in. there's a separation. So then this comes into play, because as you can see,
Yeah,
it kind of grimy, but the air blows down here, it gets pushed that way and that way, which are the ducts.
Okay, so just
To the trailer.
more efficient that way.
And that's why when you went to open the slats on the Coleman, it's over there if you want to show it, that would let it come in, they would work because it's being bypassed by this, because they're trying to push that air into these, maybe it's a little dusty, dirty, but trying to push it into here so then it goes throughout the coach, which is great because the new one has a very similar thing. So we literally, here, I'll trade you, just give me the camera. So now, this is all in focus. This here is the gasket between the bottom of the AC unit and the roof. This is literally the roof. And so that gasket just goes all the way around. So hopefully you're able to see that. I am not a... Right, and so then this is the blower motor that we just replaced. Anyway, and there's the control panel, and this is that wire we talked about. Hopefully, I'll come back. Hopefully you can see it goes into the condenser right there, and that's just the freeze sensor. So that'll stay on there. So really, I just need to go up on the roof now and get this disconnected. We could probably do it from here, but actually I might. I don't know. We're gonna get this disconnected. I can do it one of two ways. I can either unplug it from up here or just cut it. And then this is ready to come off. Actually, it's off. There's daylight. Yay. So the front's off. Yep. And then we get the new one, set it down on top, and do the whole thing in reverse. Actually pretty easy so far. All right, so we pulled this control unit. It's made by Airxcel, which was attached to the inside of the one on the roof because we want to get to this power cable. It comes right in. There's a little panel back here. And just a flathead screwdriver. Pop that cover off. Bam! Wiring. Because it's going to take power coming in from here to whatever wires these are that goes over, and there's a control panel inside here, and that's what distributes it up the top. So we should be able to...
It's pretty accessible.
Yeah, I mean, this is going a lot easier than I thought it was gonna. I say it now.
Last words.
Yep, actually, we know what this is dead. Okay, so I don't have to worry about that. All right, and so these connectors, it's a love-hate thing. They're easy to use. Let me get them all turned the same way. These things are really easy to use. They just got this little orange deal, this little arm. You pull it down, wire comes right out, which is great when you're disassembling things. But when you're trying to troubleshoot or you're in here and you're moving wires around, these things open up very easily and come apart. So they don't have this super strong hold. I don't think you really need something that's clamped on there that's never ever going to let go, because once it gets all tucked away, it doesn't go anywhere, so it doesn't move. Here's our hot, which is black. So we're going to pop open. See how that opens? I don't know if you can see that. Pop that open. Wire comes right out. Actually, I popped the wrong one. So we'll pop that off. The one thing I don't like is a lot of the electrical here inside the trailer is stranded wire. It's not solid copper. I'm not real sure why they do that. Maybe weight, flexibility, because it's got to bend a lot more, and solid copper wire doesn't bend quite as well.
I would think.
Yeah, Mama thinks this. So, you know, if anybody knows, put a note in the comments below. Let us know why so much of this is run by stranded wire, and it drives me nuts. But anyway, I guess I don't need to be driven nuts. So here's the white, not off, and then the ground. All right, so there's our power. So all these are from the trailer. From best of what I read, all we're going to use is the power. So we'll have a hot, a neutral, and a ground. That'll go to the new unit. All of this is just going to I'll get it all wrapped up and tucked away once the new unit's on the roof. Then this panel that we're done with, we can do, put it all back.
Whoop, about all over our stuff.
And then
it'll go with the unit when it
I'll
leaves.
tuck this back up here. And now the unit itself has no connection to the trailer via wiring. It's just sitting on top of this hole. So I'll just have to push and break that free. Everything else is removing it from the roof. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pull this unit down, and then I'll probably take it over to the shop here, and I'm going to strip everything I can off of it for extra parts. We know that we put a new blower motor in there, so we're going to take that. Both of the capacitors are new, so we'll take those. I may even go back into this little panel and take those little clip connectors, all of these that are no longer going to be used, take those, and then so when we throw the rest of this thing away, I guess I need to check the refrigerant, make sure it's not one of those super toxic. I doubt it. I think it's the right kind. And then we can just take the unit, toss it, have the extra parts. The light, yay! So I'm picking it up off the roof right now.
Nice.
So that's it.
Okay, go ahead. I mean, if you talk a little bit, I know.
All right, so this is the air distribution box, which is the inside. And this is what we'll do from inside the trailer, and it's going to distribute that air into the ducts like when we took out the big white styrofoam thing, and it has a bunch of control panel stuff with it. This is what she looks like. Get this out the way. All right, so you got a magical bag here. As you can tell, we've opened this already, which is going to have the remote, with pretty fancy, I'll be honest with you. This thing is, you can set it up to, I think it says follow. Sleep, somewhere in there. Follow me. So that means you can take this and walk around different parts of the coach, especially those that only have one AC unit, let's say, on their coach, or like we do, we have two, but the second one is pretty much for the bedroom. And we don't like the temperature that we're feeling here. If you take the remote and bring it over here, hit follow me, that will adjust its flow and how much it runs to cool or to cool down where this is at. So it's kind of cool. Kind of neat little extra. So then this is just an extra one of these, which will sit on here and it'll close the gap. When this is on here, if there's any gap, we cut this to the right height and that'll seal that. So that's what that piece is. This is just the electrical box, the mount for that. But this is the electrical box cover, gives plain wire diagrams. And then once all that wiring gets in, this will get screwed in. I think it goes right on this or something like that, but your charge was awesome. And then there's a little plate, connection block, which again will get screwed onto here underneath this, and that's the hot wires coming from the RV will go into one side, the other side goes out to the AC unit on the roof, and then that gets mounted in here. Here's the little bit of wiring, and all of these little connectors all go to the main unit on top. Nothing coming from the RV. So the only thing that's going to come from the RV is going to go into that. 4 screws. Let me pull this out so you can see what it looks like. This is to seal between these two. So whatever height this ends up being, we'll put it here. That tape goes right in here and seals it. And then last but not least, so this is what they call the ABD unit. Oh, look at that, I'm turning it up the right way. So this is the return air, and it's got this screen, and there's another metal screen underneath it for catching debris. So this is where the air goes up, gets sucked up into the unit, and then it'll come back out through here. So it'll either come out through these vents. If you close this, that distribution box will send it up to the top. But all your controls are done from right here or the remote.
And this is ducted.
This is ducted, yes. That's why we have all this. So as it blows in, it's going to blow in. This is sealed off in return. If we close this vent, it's going to push it that way and this way. And as you saw in the ceiling, there's the ducts.
Gotcha.
But then all controlled here. One little thing I'm going to throw out there before we stop. This has something called dry, which means it still will try and cool, but it's a dehumidifier built right into the unit.
I wonder how effective it is.
Don't know. That's the thing. Don't know. But if, you know, where you're starting to see moisture inside, any bit helps. You know what I mean? And so I guess we'll have to do a follow-up on this video to show you how well that works. But I like that feature. Coming into summertime, going to start having humidity, AC cooling, and you get the condensation that builds up on windows and stuff. It'll be nice to see how well that dries the air out. I think it's really neat. And a bunch of other stuff. If you've been traveling and the coach is real hot, you can hit turbo, which means it sends max power to everything to try and cool things down. But it's only temporary. You don't want to run on that all the time. But anyway, lots of neat stuff. So more to come, but at least we're at that point.
What is going to be the biggest challenge for this operation that we're running today?
From what I'm seeing, it's getting the 80 pound, give or take, unit on the roof, and then I don't know how much the Coleman Mach weighs, but getting it off the roof without tearing a hole in the roof, because it's that stupid membrane stuff. So yeah, that's going to be the interesting part. I'm going to go get the new unit ready, put some cardboard down so we can set the old unit on that. We'll clean up the roof, slide it off, but it's getting that. We got a skid steer here. I don't know. We're going to see. It should be interesting. I had a buddy that's in the park here, just recently replaced his. Young buck, you know, so he says, oh yeah, me and my friend, we went right up the ladder. I have a ladder, and they carried this thing on the roof and then took the old one off the roof. Hey, all power to you. Got the muscles? Not this guy. It's too heavy. So we'll see. We don't give up our mechanical advantage until we absolutely have to. All right, see you on the roof. Well, I hope y'all got to see it, but all I did was just take the distribution box, flatten it out, slid that over because we don't want to rip, you know, this membrane is. So anyway, that's what's left. We got a little cleaning up to do. But here's the cool part.
Oh.
Caught you slacking. So then there's all the wiring that we had done from before. So now I'm just going to clean this part up here with some isopropyl and a rag, and we'll get this all cleaned up the best we can. I'm going to take this styrofoam, just kind of, and I'll gently tape that down to keep the hole from getting stuff in it, because then we got to go prep the other unit, which is pretty much prepped. It's on a pallet and get it up here. So that's where we are.
Rolling thunder, calling down my name. Why don't you hear me wonder? Ooh, ooh.
All right, yeah, our little jerry rig, but we got it. Here's the old unit. So I'm hoping, man, I don't know. It should get this thing off the roof. So let's go prep the other unit and see what we can do.
Shining just like sun. Why don't you hear me wonder? Tell me, river, where your current flows. Why don't you hear me wonder? Ooh, ooh. Oh, stop your freight train. Let a lost man ride. Why don't you hear me wonder? Ooh, ooh. Fare you well, darling, ain't coming back no more. Why don't you hear me wonder? Ooh, since I've been gone so long. Freedom calls. Tongue when we're talking about what I need. Say what you will at the hardware store. Don't get you started talking about sports, baby. Why won't you talk to me? Can't get your tongue when we're talking about what I need. Think you're the silent type, but that ain't what I like. I need a man who knows how to speak. So talk to me. Yap on the phone with your daddy till dawn. Fishing with your buddies, going on and on and on. Those fish hear more than me. Cat gets your tongue when we're talking about what I need. Think you're the silent type. That ain't what I like. I need a man who knows how to speak. Oh, you think you're the silent type. That ain't what I like. I want a man to keep me company. It's up to me.
My heart is racing so hard just because.
Why? Well, we're not done. I still
I
gotta
know.
slide that damn thing from there to the hole. and there's a solar panel in the way.
Okay, that's why you kept stepping over. I'm thinking, why are you guys
Yep,
stepping so
solar panel.
gingerly? Okay, well, we're gonna take the dog for a walk now.
All right, cool. So thanks for sticking with us. That was long. I know that was the end of part one. Please stay tuned, subscribe so you get the notifications. Part two, where we get this install wrapped up and then test it and see how much better it is. So we'll see you in part two.